Good morning, dear friends. It's 6:45 in the morning and Dan's asleep, but I'm starting my video because my voice will slowly wake him up and we need to be awake because last night we went to bed early. I think we were in bed at 10 p.m. because we have a very big day planned and there's a lot of things that I need to do today, and I wrote out a list, very specific list with the times and everything that I need to leave. And good morning, dear husband. So I was just sitting here reading all the comments on yesterday's video. I posted a 2-hour-long video yesterday for anyone that hasn't seen it yet. And my goodness, the comment section, to me, it's quite literally mind-blowing because my whole life I've felt so isolated and alone in my thoughts and behaviors, and I've always felt like there's something wrong with me and I'm the only person that goes through this. But I look at my comment section and I'm like, oh my God, all of us that have exactly the same experiences. It's almost like if you picked any school in the world and any grade at that school, there's probably a handful of people that are experiencing quite literally exactly what you're experiencing. But none of us know each other, or none of us know that other people are going through that because people don't talk about it openly. It's just something that is very difficult to discuss. And when you are spending your lunchtime alone in the bathroom because you don't have any friends, then you're not really getting the opportunity to find the other person that's sitting alone in the cubicle next door because they don't have any friends. And little do you know that if the two of you were to speak, you would actually find that you are one and the same. Isn't it strange? I hope that by the time we have children, we are able to send them to a school where children's behaviors are different and children that are neurodivergent are, diagnosed earlier, or at least children are taught by their parents how to interact with people that are neurodivergent. I feel like I was never, ever told how to interact with someone that has autism. I mean, I know there's no one way to interact with someone like that, but I knew nothing about it until I was an adult, and a friend of mine dated someone who was autistic, and she was so open about her autism, and she said, look, these are the things I'm really not comfortable with, things like this and this and this. If I don't hug you, if you come toward me to hug me and I don't hug you, it's not because I don't like you. If I message you multiple times a day, I'm not trying to be annoying or controlling. It's just because I really like to know, or I kind of have to know where people are and what they're doing. She laid it out so specifically, everything that was potentially confusing for someone else. Sensory issues, she explained all of that. I mean, I was like 25 at this point, and I didn't know a single thing about any of this. And I thought, oh my goodness, this explains so much, because there were so many people in school that were my friends, but then I would think maybe they weren't. Maybe they didn't like me because I tried to give them a hug and they would turn away, or they didn't like hugging. I'm a massive hugger. I'm like, hug me deeply for 5 minutes, even though I saw you 3 hours ago. And I'm like, why didn't we learn this in school? Why weren't we given mental health classes? Why weren't we taught that people, hey kids, let's sit down. Today we're going to talk about Asperger's. The next time, hey kids, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about borderline personality disorder. And why didn't they tell us? Why didn't they teach us? They could have said, these are mental health problems that people struggle with, and these are ways to identify them. And if you're sitting in this class and you have this condition, maybe you've been diagnosed, or maybe you relate to these things, if you feel comfortable, you can tell the class or you can tell your friends, and then they'll know how to treat you. Because, you know, I got bullied so badly in school. I moved schools 7 times, and now that I'm an adult and I look back and I realize why kids bullied me, most of it comes down to my personality, or it was my weight or my hair color or whatever. And there's some things that shitty kids will always bully other kids for. But I think that there's some things that if children had a greater understanding of mental health problems and there was less judgment around it, children would be more kind. You know, maybe if kids pick on someone because that person, maybe they sit alone at lunchtime in a quiet room and people call them a loner and they pick on them. Maybe if kids understood, oh, well, hey, Sarah has sensory issues, so she sits by herself at lunch because she doesn't like the sound of other people eating, maybe they wouldn't, call her a loser or a loner or whatever the nasty things that they say. Maybe if they understood. And also, it's one thing to understand, but it's another thing to teach your children, hey, when someone is different like that, don't judge them, don't bully them, don't be a fucking asshole, you piece of shit. God, I have so much anger toward shitty parents that raise shitty children. Like, every kid that bullied me in school, when those of them that I had a slight understanding of who their parents were and how they were raised, their parents were shitty and mean like they were. And it was not that often that you'd get bullied by a kid whose parents would be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I've got 3 kids and the other 2 are so nice and have lots of friends and don't bully anyone, but one of them is just randomly a bully out of nowhere. Usually in situations like that, the bully is going through it themselves. They've got something going on. But the kids that were just mean for no reason had really shitty and mean parents. And like, I literally knew there was a dude that made my life a living hell in high school. And I saw his dad at parent-teacher day once, and I was like, oh, this explains everything. His dad was racist and just a horrible sort of thug of a person, really. I was like, yeah, of course you raised a kid like that. And he's the sort of dad that if his son tripped someone over, he'd be like, yeah, high five, Anyway, I just hope that by the time we have children and we choose which school to send them to, we can safely send them to a school where they will be accepted and they will be accepting of everyone around them, no matter how those people are, no matter how different those people are to them. My parents raised me my parents never had to tell me, don't be mean, don't bully other people, because it wasn't in my nature. And I just wish that we were all able, those of us that are around right now watching this video, we've had our childhood. We've been raised the way we were raised. Our parents were raised the way they were raised. There's nothing we can do to go back and change any of that. But those of us now that either have children or we're going to have children in the future, I just hope that, going into 2030, 2040, things change, because school and bullies have fucked up that many of us. It's just a cycle, so many people I think will have underlying mental health problems, but those aren't activated or exacerbated until you're in school and kids bully you. And then it gets worse and worse and worse. Actually, which brings me to want to respond to a comment that someone left yesterday. And they said, hang on, I actually have to pause to read the comment, and I'm going to go brush my teeth before I answer that comment, because I might run out of time or I'll forget. So if you need to brush your teeth, then do it. Do it now with me. All right, so let me start brushing my teeth and then I'm just going to read the comment and then I'll come back. Caroline said she was wondering how I managed my ADHD before I got diagnosed. I got diagnosed at the age of 27. And by the way, I recorded the entire thing. I recorded the day I went to my regular doctor to get a referral to the psych. I recorded my psych appointment. I recorded the entire 2-year journey. And I was planning on uploading it, within a few weeks of filming it, or a few months, because I really did think that I'd get on the meds and then I'd suddenly be better. I didn't expect it to drag on for 2 years. So now I have 2 years worth of footage that I'm procrastinating editing, but also I don't feel right uploading that video until I have some sort of conclusion. But I'm starting to learn that with mental health, I don't think that there is any conclusion. I don't think that there's going to be any such thing. I thought I'll reach a point where the meds are great, everything's great, my life is perfect, I'm uploading every single day, I'm, well, not every single day. Well, actually, that's what I'm doing right now. No, but I thought I'd be posting on my main channel all the time, and I'd have my personality back, and I would, be doing all my sponsorships and doing all my work on time and not missing deadlines and not getting distracted, and I'd be showering every day and I'd be doing the washing, and I really thought, I was like, I'm gonna start some medicine and all of that's just gonna happen. But because that is not what happened, I was just waiting for a conclusion. I was waiting for some point that I could end the video and say, well guys, it's been a year and it's been a tough journey, but I'm finally at a place where everything's great. I'm still not there yet. So I still haven't concluded that video. So I don't know when that video is going to go up, but it will one day. I will post it one day when I feel within myself that I am in a good enough place that I can post it and show a journey that's had a starting point and then a point where it can inspire people. Because if you look at it right now, it's like, I got diagnosed with ADHD and OCD. My life went, and now we're here. So that brings me to the question about how did I manage my ADHD? And I didn't at all, but it was more like I wasn't managing my ADHD. I had just grown and adapted, and I just lived my life thinking that that was my life. So I didn't manage anything. In order to gather my thoughts, I'm gonna have to stop rubbing my face. I'm doing a oil pull where I've spoken about this before, but if you missed it, if you get like an oil-based cleansing balm or just a cleansing oil and you rub your face for more than 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, the oil that you're rubbing amalgamates with the oil that's in the pores of your skin and will actually help to extract any clogged pores. And all over my fingers right now, you probably won't be able to see because of the camera lens resolution. Oh, maybe you can kind of see. There's these tiny little white balls that are actually they're being pulled out of my skin because as you rub, it's heating up, and oil under heat, is a little bit easier to move. And then the oil on your hands bonds to the oil in the holes and then kind of grabs together, and then you pull it out. You should look up oil pulling if you haven't heard of it before. I try to do this once a week. I haven't done it for several weeks, but I figured because I'm on camera, I will do it. Actually, the last time I did it was the last time I talked about this, and then a few people did it and they were like, oh my God, Alex, that's so cool. Thank you for telling us. So I am not very good at doing things and talking about important things at the same time. So let me wash my face. Have you done your skincare today or this evening? if you hadn't, maybe jump up out of bed. I read a comment from someone actually the other day, and I'd said, hey, if you haven't brushed your teeth in a while, like get up and brush your teeth. And the person replied, and they're like, Alex, it's 2 a.m. I know I haven't brushed my teeth in a few days, but I'm not going to get up now. But hey, I find sometimes that is what it takes. When you have that thought of, but blah, blah, so I'm not going to do it now, that's what you should try to fight. You should try to push against that. If you have something that you really should have done, and you think, even though I'm capable of doing that, it's late, I'm comfortable in bed, I'm not going to do it. I'll do it in the morning. You're actually going to do it in the morning. Because if you're not, just do it now. I discovered this with a skincare thing one night where I was lying in bed playing. Oh my God, that frightened the life out of me. The alarm went off on my phone to take my meds, and it was so loud, and it stopped the video. Yeah, I was lying in bed one night playing on my phone, and it was 2 a.m. and I was like, I should have done my skincare. And then I thought, oh well, I'll do it in the morning. And then it was 3 a.m. and I was still playing on my phone, and I was like, I should do my skincare. Look at this. I've got old undies. I've got like probiotics, some socks, there's bird poo, and then this big pile of meds that I never finished putting away in their containers. This is, you know what? Oh, this is empty. I don't even need this. You know what? On my list of days, I was going to have Tidy Up Tuesday. And now, because I said that, because I wrote a list and I said what days I'm going to do certain things, I have to do them on those days. So now I'm looking at the room and I'm like, yes, the bedroom is messy, but I can't tidy it until Tuesday because I said Tuesdays and Thursdays were going to be the days that I tidy things. I don't know why. I always restrict I do know why. It's, I believe, the OCD that makes me stick to... If someone left a comment and they said, Alex, I feel you on the list thing, but I don't write lists because if I do write a list, it sends me spiraling because if I can't complete the list, that's one thing. Or if I do write the list, it has to be written in alphabetical order and I have to write it really neatly and all the letters have to be the same size. And when I don't complete the things on the list, I feel like I'm a complete failure, or I don't even start the things on the list until I can actually commit to doing every single one of them. Oh my God, I've never related to anything so hard. I was like, ugh. And then they said that they've got, I don't remember if it was the same comment or someone else, but someone was talking about they've got unfinished lists everywhere, all over their house. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to play a game on Tuesday, on Tidy Up Tuesday. I'm going to find all my half-done lists. Like, this house, if you pick up a piece of paper or you open a notebook somewhere, it's probably going to say 14 things that I wanted to do. And you can bet your bottom dollar that I still haven't done them yet. Hang on, let me go put some socks on. Which leads me to ask you a question about socks. Socks are really important. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about socks. I have a question for you. Socks, good or bad? Daniel! For me, this is the weirdest thing for me. My entire life, my whole life, socks, bad. Socks, absolutely the fuck not. Mother says, Alex, it's very cold, put some socks on. No! I would wear them with my shoes. You know, you go to school and I have to put shoes on and I had to wear socks. But if I didn't have to wear them, like if I was wearing long pants and you couldn't see if I was wearing socks or not, I was always putting my shoes in sneakers without socks on. I'd walk around the house and no matter if it was tiles or carpet or I was stepping outside to go and feed the animals, I would just step out barefooted, no shoes, no socks, socks bad. And then I started the OCD medication. Socks good. Socks very good. I wear socks all day and I go to bed and I take the socks off because my feet are too hot when I'm in bed. And then I wake up in the morning and I don't feel ready to start my morning until I put on socks. So are you socks good or socks bad? Sorry. Anyway, I feel like this should be a questionnaire for children, they start school and then it's like, was this child going to need extra care during school? Child, socks good or bad? Socks bad. All right, we're going to speak to your parents about, having you interviewed, and we're going to ask you some further questions. Anyway, so hot tip. If you're sitting around right now and you've been suspecting that you might possibly have a condition of some sort, the best advice that I got was from, I don't know if I should say her name because I don't know if she wants to openly talk about. One of my friends, she came over one day 2 years ago with her boyfriend. There was a group of us sitting around and she reached into her bag and she took some medication. And I knew that she had heartburn and I was aware of that. So whenever we cooked for her, I'd try to make sure that she reacted to certain types of food. And when I saw her taking the meds, I thought it was her heartburn medication. And I was like, oh, is that for heartburn? Like, did you eat something? Did I serve you something that was bad? And she's like, oh, no, it's actually my ADHD medication. And I was like, you have ADHD? And the very first thing that I thought was my high school boyfriend that had ADHD, who literally could not sit still. He was just like bouncing off the walls and he had to go to the office every day for the teachers to give him his medicine. And I remember my parents saying, oh, that boyfriend of yours, he's so hyperactive, and oh, of course he's got ADHD, like you can always tell the boys that have ADHD, whatever. And I didn't know any girls that had ADHD, it was only boys. And I think for all of us that grew up in the 90s, ADHD was a boy problem. It was just hyperactive boys. Anyway, so my friend was taking her meds, said she has ADHD. I was like, what? And I literally said to her, no, you don't. And she was like, I do. And she said, you have it too. And I was like, fucking excuse me? Me? You think I'm hyperactive? Have you seen me? I haven't left the couch in 4 weeks. And she was like, no, you're not hyperactive, but you probably have ADD. And I'm like, huh? And she said, there's many types. You can be hyperactive, you can be inattentive, this, that, the other. And she's like, you definitely have it. And then she goes, and Sam does too. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with me. I mean, I might have OCD because I've rearranged nails and screws into categories so that they're exactly the same length. And if I don't finish it, I can't do anything else. I must rearrange the nails and screws into different compartments. And if I find one that's not the same size as the others, it must have its own compartment. It can't go in with the ones that are 1 millimeter longer than it. Look, I probably have OCD, but ADHD, no. Not me. And she goes, you have it. And she said, here, do this quiz. She said, this is the quiz that I did. And if you do this quiz and you answer yes to, let's say there's 18 things on the quiz. And it's like, if you answer yes to 12 or more, you should consider speaking to someone about a potential diagnosis. It doesn't say like, if you say yes, you do have it, but it just says you should consider speaking to someone. And we're in a big group of friends, and we pull open the list and I go through it, and just in my head, I'm going yes, 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 yes. And I answered yes to 17 of the 18 things. So then I go, this is rigged. And I was like, this is stupid. If it's like what this list says, then everyone has ADHD. Like literally everyone has it because everyone does these things. And then one of our friends pipes up and they go, well, read the list out. Like, what does the list say? So I start reading it and I get to the bottom and everyone mentally was counting. And 2 or 3 of our friends were like, I said yes to 1 or 2 of those. And I was like, bullshit, you said yes to 1 or 2. What are you talking about? I was like, everyone does these things. And they were like, no. But then some of our friends sitting around were like, yeah, actually, I said yes to like 10 of them. Or I said yes to, 14 of them. But I definitely don't have ADHD. Like, no. Anyway, guess how many of us ended up actually getting diagnosed after the past few years. I'm going to read out, I've been talking for a really long time, and I've actually run us late now. The person that I was going to see from the Facebook Marketplace, because I'm picking up a mulberry tree, I think I told them I was coming around 8 a.m. It's 10 to 8. But I've messaged him and I've told him already. I think that he said come after 8, so it's okay. But I'm going to read out these things to you because this is what my friend brought up. And I said yes to all of these things. A few other people in the room said no to most of them. But then when you got their partner to answer it on their behalf, they said yes. So I'm going to read this out. If you say no to everything, just for fun, maybe ask your partner to listen to this back and, come back to this moment and hit play, and then get your partner or a friend or someone to listen, and they can answer for you. Whatever the timestamp is, now. If you answer yes to 15 or more of these questions for yourself or for your loved one, they should consider speaking to a professional about a potential diagnosis. 1. I have difficulty getting organized. 2. When given a task, I usually procrastinate rather than doing it right away. 3. I work on a lot of projects, but can't seem to complete most of them. 4. I tend to make decisions and act on them impulsively, like spending money, getting sexually involved with someone, diving into new activities, and changing plans. 5. I get bored easily. 6. No matter how much I do or how hard I try, I just can't seem to reach my goals. 7. I often get distracted when people are talking. I just tune out or drift off. I get so wrapped up in some things I do that I can hardly stop to take a break or switch to doing something else. I tend to overdo things even when they're not good for me, like compulsive shopping, drinking too much, overworking, and overeating. I get frustrated easily, and I get impatient when things are going too slowly. My self-esteem is not as high as that of others I know. I need a lot of stimulation from things like action movies and video games, new purchases, being among lively friends, driving fast, or engaging in extreme sports. I tend to say or do things without thinking, and sometimes that gets me into trouble. I'd rather do things my own way than follow the rules and procedures of others. I often find myself tapping a pencil, swinging my leg, or doing something else to work off nervous energy. I can feel suddenly down when I'm separated from people, projects, or things that I like to be involved with. I see myself differently than others see me, and when someone gets angry with me for doing something that upset them, I'm often very surprised. Even though I worry a lot about dangerous things that are unlikely to happen to me, I tend to be careless and accident-prone. Even though I have a lot of fears, people would describe me as a risk-taker. I make a lot of careless mistakes. I have blood relatives who suffer from ADHD or other neurological disorders or substance abuse. At the time, I said no to that one, but since having very open discussions with my family, I have come to self-diagnose them with certain things, and so my answer now to that is yes. But when I went through that, I said my answers, and I answered yes to 18 of them or whatever it was, and we also ran through it for Sam, and Sam went, no, 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 no. But then when we answered it for Sam, I'm going to do this for Sam right now. I'm just going to do it quickly to give you...
I think it was Sam gave himself 5.
Yeah.
And everyone else gave him 19.
Yes, you're right. That's exactly what happened.
Like, is that 21?
Yes, it's out of 21.
Yeah.
Gee, you have a good memory, Dan.
Yeah.
I thought it was out of 18, but that's because the number was sticking in my head that I answered yes to 18. Sam answered yes to 19 of the 21. No, sorry, we answered yes.
But he said 5.
That's so... You have such a good memory, Dan, for some things. For Sam... Sorry, Sam. Sam doesn't watch this channel, so it's fine. I can roast him. I have difficulty getting organized. He's like, no. We're like, but you're fucking kidding me, Sam. What are you talking about? 2, when given a task, I usually procrastinate rather than doing it right away. He's like, nah, I do everything. We're like, okay, so what about this and this and this and this that you were supposed to do 3 years ago? He's like, well, there's a reason I didn't do that. I work on a lot of projects but can't seem to complete most of them. He's like, nah, I complete all of my projects. Really, Sam? What happened to the wardrobe that you've half built? What happened to the keyboard that you promised that you would make for Dan out of timber that you didn't make?
And then left.
Yeah, what about that knife or those 5 knives that you never finished making in your blacksmithing area that you really wanted to come back to but you never came back to? Oh, well, that's because there's more important things to do. Really, Sam? What have you done this past week? Nothing. I tend to make decisions and act on them impulsively, like spending money, getting sexually involved with someone, diving into new activities and changing plans. No, he says. We're like, Sam, when you met Beck for your very first Tinder date, you deleted Tinder straight away. And he's like, well, yeah, because I really, really liked her. And we're like, you met her once. And yes, he was fair to really, really like her. She's wonderful. But also, our advice to him was, you're talking to 4 girls that you could potentially go out for coffee with. Why don't you just meet up and have a coffee and introduce yourself to those girls before you make a decision about who you're going to, start dating? He's like, no. Beck and I went out for coffee. That's it. That's fine. We were like, that's pretty impulsive, Sam. That's a very impulsive thing to do. He's like, no, it's not. I'm a gentleman. Like, and also diving into new activities. We were like, what are you talking about, Sam, that you don't do? In the time that I've known Sam, we've done candle making. He's done blacksmithing. He's done jewelry making, woodwork. He's done hydroponic gardening. He jumps into everything, but he didn't consider that. It didn't even occur to him. I get bored easily. He's like, no, I don't. And we're like, Sam, 10 minutes ago, as everyone was discussing this, you were literally looking out the window and you weren't partaking in the conversation. And when someone asked you a question, you were like, huh? No matter how much I do or how hard I try, I can't seem to reach my goals. He's like, nah, I reach my goals. We're like, Sam, did you ever, how you said that you were going to finish this thing? Did you ever do it? No. Did you ever do this thing? Well, no, but what about this thing? Well, no, but I often get distracted when people are talking. I just tune out or drift off. And he goes, well, yeah, I guess I do that. So he answered yes to 1. I get so wrapped up in some things I do that I can hardly stop to take a break or switch to doing something else. No, he says. And Dan pipes up and he's like, mate, when you're in your workshop and you're making knives, you don't eat. You literally don't stop to eat. You go the entire day without eating. And he's like, well, yeah, but that's because I'm really busy. I don't have time to eat. We're like, these two, HR is asking you to identify the difference between these 2 pictures. They're the same. I often overdo things when they're no good for me, like compulsive shopping, drinking too much, overworking, and overeating. Sam says no. We're like, dude, you overwork yourself. You seriously overwork yourself. When Sam starts something, he does it that day, and he knows that if he doesn't finish it that day, he'll never come back to it again. So he overworks himself that day. He was constantly overworking himself, but he didn't think so. I get frustrated easily and I get impatient when things are going too slowly. He goes, yeah. So he said yes to 2 things at that point. And that's a classic when Sam's walking, and if there's people slower than him on the footpath, he walks up behind them and he's like, get out of my way. My self-esteem is not as high as that of others I know. And I think he said yes to that, which surprised us because we thought that he had good self-esteem, but he was like, no, I think I'm a piece of shit. So he said yes to that. I need a lot of stimulation from things like action movies and video games, new purchases, being among lively friends, driving fast, or engaging in extreme sports. He was like, nope. And all of us, by this point, only a couple of us were calling him out on things, but everyone in the room was like, bullshit, Sam, bullshit. He's like, what are you talking about? We're like, dude, are you fucking joking? Okay, Sam doesn't buy new things, true. And this is
Come on.
well, I guess he does sometimes.
Yeah, he does.
But this is a point that I want to bring up, that when you are doing quizzes like this, when they provide examples, it's not saying these specific things, it's just giving an example. So for this one, it's that I need a lot of stimulation from things like, and in this example they say action movies and video games, new purchases, being among lively friends, driving fast, or engaging in extreme sports. But you don't have to use their list. You could say, I need a lot of stimulation from things like, and then if you think, okay, well, what are things that I get mental stimulation from? Maybe if you have an interest in indoor houseplants and you get mental stimulation from listening to videos about like indoor plants. Maybe you listen to Plantarina on YouTube or something, and you listen to every single one of her videos because you find it mentally stimulating to learn about, Monstera, whatever the Monstera needs bark mix wise, or maybe you get mental stimulation from birds, like me. Birds are things that if you tell me something about a bird, my brain lights up and I want to learn everything there is to learn about the bird. So you don't have to use the examples like action movies and video games, but just think about what you need a lot of stimulation from. What's something that, you're lying there, you're like, there's nothing interesting in my life, I don't care about anything. But is there something that actually does mentally get you thinking and get you interested and excited? That is what you need a lot of stimulation from. So we gave him some examples, and we said, well, you need stimulation from this and this and this and this. And he was like, perhaps. I tend to say or do things without thinking, and sometimes that gets me into trouble. We all said no for that for Sam. Sam overthinks everything. He is a chronic overthinker, and he doesn't say anything that'll upset anyone. I would rather do things my own way than follow the rules and procedures of others. And he went, no. And then he went, oh, actually, yeah. We're all like, yeah. So then he said yes to 4. I often find myself tapping a pencil, swinging my leg, or doing something else to work off nervous energy. And he said no. And we're like, you're tapping your leg right now. And also Sam goes like this. And we all know that he does it. I don't think he realizes that he does it, but he does that when he's anxious or stressed or, thinking about something. So we told him, yes, you do that. I see myself differently than others see me. And when someone gets angry with me for doing something that upset them, I'm often very surprised. He was like, no, I'm very self-aware. We all just looked at him. I don't think we even gave an explanation. We just looked at him. Even though I worry a lot about dangerous things that are unlikely to happen to me, I tend to be careless and accident prone. He said no. We burst out laughing. It was so funny because as a blacksmith, the amount of times that we would see Sam and he'd be covered in bandages and he'd have burns, blisters, cuts, bruises. How did that happen? And he's like, oh, I didn't secure this thing properly. Or, I fumbled and my finger went into the sander and sanded 2 layers of skin off. He is careless. He doesn't wear safety goggles when he's doing his welding and stuff like that. Like when he takes a saw to metal and there's metal sparks and shards flying everywhere, he doesn't wear safety glasses. Dan and I go into his workshop to, do some stuff with him, and we put on the glasses. And good thing I did this one time. I was cutting into an old teaspoon that I thrifted, and a little tiny bit of metal came off, and it hit my glasses, but then it literally nicked my face. And that's how my grandpa went blind in one eye, because he was a mechanical engineer and in the military working on planes and stuff, and he was doing something with metal, and a saw and a piece of metal went into his eye and blinded him in one eye. And we're like, Sam, please, wear goggles, wear glasses, safety glasses. And he's like, nah. And when he answered no to that, we just about died. And then even though I have a lot of fears, people would describe me as a risk taker. And Sam's like, I don't have a lot of fears, but I guess I'm a risk taker. Yeah, I guess I do some things people wouldn't do. So then that was like the 5th thing that he said yes to. I make a lot of careless mistakes. And Sam's like, I don't make mistakes. And some of us beg to differ.
But when is that, like 3 in last week.
Yeah, Dan pointed out a couple of really good examples, and he was like, And then number 21, I have blood relatives who suffer from ADHD. And so Sam, I won't talk about Sam's family without him. I'll talk about Sam, but I won't talk about his family. But anyway, so that's why sometimes it's interesting to have someone else answer for you if you're not self-aware about the things that you do. But when I went through this and I answered yes to 18 of them, I was like, yeah, but everyone does that. Because as I was going through this list, I'm thinking, well, this is my normality. You know, have difficulty getting organized. Yeah, so does everyone. When given a task, I procrastinate. So does everyone. And then Alex piped up and he was like, I actually do things as soon as it's handed to me, I do it. I was like, yeah, well, you're weird. And he's like, no, a lot of people just do what they need to do. And then Shelley was like, yeah, I just do things. I don't like putting things off. Like if I get a task, I do it. I don't like to procrastinate. And I was like, well, there's something wrong with you people. You might want to talk to someone about that. I work on a lot of projects and can't complete them. I was like, yeah, well, so does everyone. Everyone's got a half-finished pile of timber because they took up carpentry because of a YouTube video that they watched and then they didn't finish it. Like everyone's got 20 kilos of soy wax in their garage because they started making candles. Dumpling! Or like I make decisions and act on them impulsively, like spending money and diving into new activities and changing plans. And I'm like, yeah, everyone does that. And then people piped up and they're like, no, we don't. I get bored easily. Everyone gets bored easily. And then some people in the room were like, I don't get bored easily. You know, I always find a way to entertain myself. Anyway, so it's really interesting to go through something like this with people around you, because if I didn't have anyone around me, if I just come across this online and I didn't have anyone around me, I would have been like, this is ridiculous. Like if that's true, then everyone in the world has ADHD. But then you hear people that are answering no, and they're genuinely answering no, you know, like unlike Sam, you know, when Sam says, no, I don't do that, and then doesn't actually have anything to back the fact that he doesn't do that, because we all know that he does that, versus someone like Alex, when Alex says, no, I don't procrastinate. I do things as soon as I get handed them. Not a single person in the room would be like, no, you don't. Everyone's like, actually, yeah. I don't know a single thing that our friend Alex has been asked to do that he has put off doing. He does everything immediately. And Beck, his girlfriend Beck as well. She was here the other day and she showed me a photo of her cat. And in the background of the photo of the cat, I saw this book. And I was like, oh my God, is that... I've been really interested in like gut health because I have a really bad metabolism. And I've been researching gut health online. And I saw this book in the background. Like her cat was here and that was just lying there. And I was like, is that a book on gut health? And I said, oh, could I borrow that? And then next thing I know, because I think Beck was here with us and Dan was at D&D with her boyfriend. And then Dan came home and he had this book. Beck literally on the spot messaged Alex and said, can you send this book home with Daniel? She did it on the spot. Beck and Alex do not procrastinate things. But in my mind, I'm like, everyone procrastinates. No, they don't. So when you start talking to other people, and then we got into this really interesting discussion about showering and stuff like that. And at this point, I wasn't taking the quiz seriously. I was like, oh yeah, well, I said yes to 18 of these 21 things, but I don't have ADHD. But then we started talking openly about other things because I was like, well, hang on. If you know, like, what's one? Like, let's say my self-esteem is not as high as that of others I know. And then a few people in the room were like, I have good self-esteem. Like, I don't even think about myself. Yeah, I'm a size 18, but so what? I'm completely comfortable within my body. I don't care. I don't even think about it. And I'm like, I thought everyone had self-esteem problems, you know. So we just started openly talking about things, and I can't remember how we got onto the topic of showering and things like that, but it did come up, and we were talking about personal hygiene. I think it was because the person that talked about the quiz in the first place said, if you research it, you'll see that there's a lot of things that you know, that you do that you'll relate to when you see people with ADHD do these things. And she said, so for example, like showering or something. She said something like that. And she said, how often do you shower? And I was like, I just shower when I need to. And she was like, well, what is when you need to? And I was like, well, when I feel sweaty and I feel like my hair's dirty. So if I've been at home for a week and I haven't exercised and I haven't been sweaty, I don't shower. And other people in the room were like, well, I get up and I start my morning with a shower every morning. I'm like, but what if you showered the day before and you didn't do anything? You didn't get sweaty. And they're like, well, I still have a shower. You know, I enjoy having a shower. I'm like, you enjoy showering? And they're like, yeah, it's like I really look forward to having a shower in the morning. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? What? So, when you talk to people about these things, and if you don't have people to talk to about them, when you listen to a video or you hear someone like me talking about it, and you realize, or you hear that, wait, you mean other people don't do that? Or you hear, wait, people that do that, it's an ADHD thing? Or that's an OCD thing? I just thought that was a normal thing. Anyway, all of this was in response to someone asking me, how did you manage your ADHD? I didn't. And even now that I know I have it, and even now that I'm on medication, I know that there's a lot of things I could be doing to manage it that I'm not doing. And like I said at one point about the list thing, I think I said this yesterday, that I really need to write a list and put it up on the wall. And I'm actually going to do it right now because I can't even think of the things that I'm supposed to be doing before I leave. My brain is just focused on the fact that we're going and we're going to pick up a mulberry tree from someone from Facebook Marketplace. I can't think of all the other things that I'm supposed to do. But actually, to be fair, I'm running so late and I don't want to stuff that guy around. So how about we do that when I get home? Yeah. Okay, we'll write the list when I get home. I need to put on deodorant. Okay. I won't forget that. And I can tell I need to put it on because I feel a little bit sweaty under my arms, and that's because I slept in this thermal last night and the thermal kept me really warm. My God, this is going to be another really, really long video. Maybe I'm going to have to upload 2 videos today because I really want to show you what we're up to, but also I really want to upload this. So how about, no dumpling, no. How rude. He was flying toward me and I shut the door in his face. I've put on deodorant and I've brushed my teeth. So that's all right, just to go get some stuff off Facebook Marketplace. But okay, I've got to open a parcel. Hi, Archie. Hi. Okay, I don't want to let Archie out because I'll just have to put him straight back away and that will make him sad. So I'll just give him a treat there and I'll open, let's see, which one? I'm trying to find something small. Okay, this one. This just feels like one single thing. All right, is it something I can wear today? We've got something from the Wollongong store. It's a Hearts women's long shoestring dress, and I paid $15 for it. Now, Hearts, I think from memory, is a old brand that they don't make anymore. An Australian brand, maybe? Look at this tag. Hearts, vintage. Tags like this are normally from the 90s. So if this is a size 10 from back then, this may not actually fit me. We've got acetate lining and polyester. Do not soak, wring or bleach, drip dry without delay, away from direct heat. Warm iron to 120 degrees Celsius. Dry cleaning recommended. Made in Australia. All right. Now, if I zip this up, I think it'll all come into line. I think. Dumpling, move! Hey, out of the way, please. Excuse me. Is that? I think that's right. This is almost as confusing as that Bella Hadid dress. Don't know if this is correct or not, but if I stand somewhere else so you can see the full length, put you here. Oh, Yes, hello. Okay, you can be in it with me. Okay, let me just put that like that. Okay. What do you think? Yeah, like I said, I haven't looked in the mirror, so I don't know if I'm wearing it right or not, but it's incredible. The fact that if this is from the 90s or even the 80s possibly, and it's a design like this, it seems like it's very futuristic for its time. Okay, well, I can't wear this out for the activities of the day, so I'm gonna get changed and I'm gonna say goodbye. But just know that I'm going to be filming everything that I'm doing today, and I'm gonna upload it later. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed listening to the ramble, and I hope that you like this dress. This dress is definitely going in my list of favorites. Even though, yeah, look, that does not look right. I'm gonna have to take some time to figure this one out. And then we'll revisit. It's gonna be like the red dress, right? I couldn't work out the red dress when I first picked it up, but I figured it out eventually. So I'm gonna figure this one out, and then you'll see it in another video. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, love you, bye.